So once you install and set up your NordVPN on Windows computer, this is the interface we're going to be confronted with. So if you already have some experience working with VPNs before, or even NordVPN in particular, you'll definitely know where to go, how to connect to your servers, or how to simplify some of the features that you need in order to make the most of your VPN subscription. But if you're completely new to VPNs, you really will not know what to do, how to find your servers, some of the best configurations to maximize on your security and download speed. So you might find it a little bit overwhelming. So in this NordVPN tutorial, I'm going to show you some of the basic features you need to set up in your NordVPN app in order to ensure you're going to get the most out of your subscription while guaranteeing your security and getting some of the best download speeds. Alright, so right off the bat, we're going to be confronted by this button right here where you're going to have the option of Quick Connect. I never use this button because I prefer to have more granular control on the servers that I connect to. So connecting to a server is as simple as clicking on the name of the server in the country list right here, and then the VPN app is going to look for the most optimal server to connect you to. Whenever I install NordVPN, the very first things I do try to check is how this app is going to run whenever I am starting up my computer. So here you are going to turn this on. I normally turn this on so that NordVPN app can get launched whenever I turn on my computer, because it's very common that I will forget to get NordVPN launched and connected. So I want to ensure it's turned on whenever my computer turns on, and then it auto connects to a particular server. However, I always want to confirm that it's actually launching, so I do keep this option off right here. But if you want to just have it launch in system tray, wherever it doesn't appear on your screen, then you can check this option right here so that it's launched in the system tray. But I prefer to see the app launched, so I do keep this off. I also try to keep this show VPN connection status notification on in order to be aware whether there's a VPN connection attempt that has failed or the connection was successful. This will help you ensure that whenever there's a drop in the internet traffic and the VPN app are disconnected from the server, I'll be alerted so that I can do the necessary to restore the connection. Alright, so as you can see right here, I've activated a dark mode. So I do find the dark mode easier on the eye, so I do prefer to work with it. But if you don't like the dark mode, you can always work with the light mode if that extra light doesn't bother you. Then another set of features we're going to look at is language right here. You can choose it, make it English, or even this is German. You can make it Spanish, you can make it in French. I'll just take it back to English for the sake of this tutorial. Alright, so once you check this right, so the next setup you're going to need to set is your auto connecting. So just come to connection feature right here. I do leave the protocol to be automatically recommended. Currently on the Windows desktop app, you only have the option of Nord Linux and Open VPN, where you can choose TCP or UDP. I just let it choose it for me. Now, when it comes to auto connect, this is option where we're going to specify whether once the VPN app launches whenever you're starting up your computer, for example, will it directly connect to a server, will it directly connect to a VPN, or you should do that manually. So I prefer to set it to all networks regardless of whether I'm on the Ethernet or mobile network or even Wi-Fi network, so that I don't have to be remembering to set this every time. But if you have a more trustworthy Ethernet or a more trustworthy mobile network, then you can just set it to just connect only when you're on Wi-Fi. But I prefer to have all that checked just for security purposes. Then remember, you still have a lot of options right here where you can decide on which server is going to connect to whenever the app is launched when you're starting your computer. So if you just say fastest server, it's going to use the quick connect feature, which is going to look for the most optimal server to connect you to based on how far you are from that server, the current load on that server. But I do prefer to keep more granular control on the server I connect to. So I prefer to go with the second option, which is custom. And then here you can choose if you want to use a standard server, so standard VPN or the shared IP addresses that you do get, like the one we have right now. These are dedicated IP address. If you had purchased a dedicated IP address, you can go for this option. You can go for double VPN if you want to double encrypt your traffic, obfuscated servers if you're accessing the internet in a restricted country like China or even Iran or Russia, or even a P2P server if you're trying to do some torrenting, heavy torrenting activities, or Onion over VPN if you're going to use it with your Tor browser. And then from there you can still narrow down your choice by either specifying the country, so it's going to connect to a standard server, probably in Australia, or a standard server anywhere, right? You can choose the fastest. Again, that will still use the quick connect feature, or you can simply just choose the country, specify the country you want to connect to. Alright, so these are some of the basic features, some of the basic setup, NordVPN setup you're going to do once you're just launched or installed your NordVPN on your computer to ensure you're getting some great features, some great service with this VPN. Alright, so the quick connect feature is more of tied to this right here. So because I've turned this on, that is going to be disabled by default because it's basically the same thing. Alright, so there's something again you need to know here, a VPN connection after quitting the app. So quitting the app means clicking on this X button right here. So sometimes whenever you click on that button, you're going to decide what should be done. Do you want the app to be disconnected and closed, or do you want to stay connected while the app is running in the system tray? I do prefer to leave this to ask every time, but if you don't want to do that, you can just set it to always go to system tray so that it will disappear on your screen, but it will still be running in the background. Because I don't know why you'd want to just disconnect it, but if you want to disconnect it, just make that option and disconnect it, and it will disconnect from that server. Alright, so those are just the basic features you're going to need to set up if you're going to use NordVPN for the first time to ensure that whenever you're starting out on your computer, the right server is going to be connected to. Remember, if you want to set the ad blocker on, I do set the ad blocker on because remember, the NordVPN ad blocker works even if you're disconnected from that server. So if you want to ensure you're always blocking ads for whenever you're reading articles on popular publishing platforms, just ensure this is turned on. Alright guys, those are some of the basic features you need to set up whenever you're creating or installing VPN or VPN on the desktop computer, Windows desktop for the first time. If you don't yet have a NordVPN subscription, there's a link in the description where you can actually go and get a NordVPN subscription for a really great price, a ridiculously low price, a price you're not going to find if you go directly to the NordVPN website. Remember, NordVPN has a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you're not impressed by your purchase for whatever reason, feel free to hit up customer support within those first 30 days and ask for your money back. Alright guys, if you've used NordVPN before or if you have some special configuration that you think are going to be better, please share them in the comments below so that we can know how to make the most of your VPN subscription. Remember, there's also a kill switch that you can turn on. I do prefer to keep this off during my tutorials because I do have several VPNs installed on this at the same time. But if you're just running NordVPN on your desktop computer or even your mobile device, then I prefer to keep this turned on if you don't want to have your real IP address leaked online. Alright guys, remember there's a link in the description below where you can go and get a whopping 60% off NordVPN on the 2-year plan, so be sure to check it out. Alright guys, that's it with this NordVPN tutorial on how to set up NordVPN on the Windows desktop app. So till next time, checking out.